Hey guys, today I'm going to take you somewhere unexpected. The stars shift above your head like scattered shards of glass, shimmering against the inky void. Below your feet, cracked marble groans beneath centuries of silence. You walk through the ruins of an ancient templum splintered. Foundations sunken, but something lingers that time couldn't quite erase. Faint spirals carved into the stone glow softly, pulsing when your hand brushes over them. Mount Olympus looms in the distance, but this isn't about Zeus or lightning bolts. No, this story belongs to Hermes, trickster, the messenger, the guide of souls. Or at least, that's what they want you to believe. Careful, thaw be the end. You might never see history the same way again. So, before we descend into this strange story, take a moment to like the video and subscribe a bit, only if ancient secrets and cosmic questions are your thing. And drop your current location and time in the comments. You want to know where on Earth or beyond you're watching from. Now, take a breath, clear your mind, and let's unlock the myths that may never have been myths at all. You step deeper into the ruins, past a collapsed statue half buried, its one sprout wings chipped and weathered. Hermes, winged sandals, clever grin, god of travelers and thieves. Except look closer. Around his neck, not a casual toga accessory. It's a spiral amulet, identical to the glowing glyphs beneath your feet. See, mainstream history tells you Hermes was a symbol, a divine FedEx guy, zipping messages between gods and mortals. Neat, harmless, symbolic. But fringe researchers and a few quietly rebellious scholars whisper something else. Hermes wasn't just sprinting across mountain peaks. He moved between realms, dimensions. And where exactly did those myths originate? Funny thing, historians still argue over that. Some claim Hermes' earliest forms emerged from Mesopotamian trade routes. Others swear by Egyptian origins, blending him with Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe. But when you peel back the cultural layers, an eerie pattern emerges. Sites linked to Hermes temples, standing stones, ancient roadways often align with, you guessed it, the stars. Not just in a poetic, aren't the heavens pretty way. We're talking precise, mathematical alignments with constellations like Orion, the Pleiades clusters long associated with visitors, star beings, travelers not bound by Earth. Coincidence? Maybe. But remember those glowing spirals? You pass another etched into stone, half covered by moss. It pulses faintly when the clouds shift. Spiral motifs show up across ancient culture. Celts carved them into sacred sites. The Nazca etched spirals into desert plains visible only from the sky. And Hermes? His staff, the caduceus, coils upward in, you guessed it, a double spiral. But hold that thought. A chill winds through the broken temple, carrying whispers, or maybe just your nerves. But you're not alone. Something Zemencics from the shadows between pillars. You glimpse elongated limbs, reflective eyes to large, movements smooth, deliberate. Not entirely human. You blink, and they vanish. Trick of the light, maybe, but your skin hums where the glowing symbols touch. Ancient records from Delphi speak of Hermes guiding not just mortals, but strange beings who arrive from the sky. Winged ones, shimmering with light, bearing knowledge or warnings. Some accounts call them gods, others visitors. Interlopers between worlds. The mainstream narrative? Hermes is myth. The rebel theory? He was the go-between, an interdimensional messenger, smuggling information through reality's cracks. And maybe, just maybe, those cracks still exist. You press forward, boots crunching marble dust, glyphs flickering brighter with each step. Overhead, the stars wheel in unsettling patterns, familiar yet wrong. Constellations shifting where they shouldn't. Remember that faint hum beneath your skin? It's getting louder. You follow the spiral path etched into the floor, tracing it toward a half-buried relief at the temple's center. The stone is chipped, vines creep across the carvings, but the image remains unmistakable. Hermes, young, sharp-eyed, grinning with that maddening, knowing smirk. But it's not the sandals or the helmet that pull your focus. It's the staff caduceus. Two serpents intertwine up the shaft, meeting beneath a pair of wings. On every hospital logo or medical textbook, this staff symbolizes healing, balance, life. But here, beneath the dust and forgotten geometry, it feels older, stranger. Historians debate the caduceus constantly. Some say it represents commerce and negotiation apropos for a god of messengers and merchants. Others insist it's a bastardized version of the rod of Asclepius, the true symbol of medicine, with only one serpent. But there's a fringe theory tucked behind the academic bickering, one most scholars laugh off. What if the caduceus isn't symbolic at all? What if it's technological? Imagine its serpents as energy conduits, spiraling upward to channel semi-thinking power, dimensional frequencies. Look again at the relief. The serpent's bodies aren't scaly reptiles, they resemble segmented tubing, faint glyphs spiraling along their forms. The wings, less feathered appendages, more mechanical articulate panels, reminiscent of ancient depictions of sky chariots or vimanas. And here's the unsettling part: similar double helix motifs show up far from Olympus, in Sumerian tablets, on Mesoamerican temple walls, even etched across the high plateaus of Bolivia's Puma Punquear. 200-ton stones are cut with laser-like precision. No mainstream historian can comfortably explain. Coincidence? Maybe. But humor me. You step closer to the relief. As your shadow crosses the stone, faint luminescence crawls along the serpent's spines, coiling in rhythm with your pulse. That low hum beneath your skin, it syncs with the flickering glow. And suddenly, you're not standing in forgotten ruins anymore. For a split second, the air fractures, light bending like warped glass. The stars above twist into impossible geometries. You swear you see shapes, figures moving in the periphery. Tall, slender, reflective skin glinting like mercury under alien constellations. They're watching, maybe waiting. Scholars bicker endlessly over Hermes' domain. Messenger, trickster, psychopomp guiding souls to the underworld. But those same scholars gloss over the stranger details. The Greek philosopher Proclus hinted at hidden gateways Hermes could access, passages not bound by mortal geography. In Egyptian texts, thought often merged with Hermes Spas's knowledge to traverse the duet, a dimension between life and death. Some even suggest Thoth Hermes authored the Emerald Tablets, cryptic writings describing energy, frequency, and unseen realms. Mainstream archaeology waves it off as myth. But the consistent scythe spirals, the double serpents, the star Aligmenset nags at the edges of logic. And here's where it gets weirder. In 1947, Roswell, New Mexico, a supposed UFO crash site. The debris. Eyewitnesses described strange materials, lightweight metals inscribed with spiral glyphs eerily similar to the symbols under your feet. Right now, pop culture paints aliens as little gray guys, big eyes, flying saucers. But ancient depictions, they're subtler. Cloaked figures with elongated limbs, radiant beings stepping from beams of light, entities with staffs, tools, symbols identical to Hermes' caduceus. You glance around the ruins, the symbols pulse brighter. That hum, it's no longer just inside you, it's in the air, vibrating the stone, resonating through your chest. This was never just a temple. It was a transmitter, a conduit. Hermes' staff wasn't just decoration, it was a device. And if Hermes wasn't merely sprinting messages between petty gods, but carrying intelreal, technological, interdimensional data, then what exactly was he warning us about? You catch movement against, fluid, not quite human. They never approach directly. Observers, gatekeepers, maybe allies, maybe not. But the spirals beneath your feet, they're leading somewhere. You take another step. The hum intensifies. The spirals tighten, curling inward like a cosmic fingerprint etched into the stone. Your pulse follows their rhythm, every step heavier, every breath laced with static. Up ahead, the floor fractures into an open chamber, columns leaning like drunken giants. Glyphs carved into every surface, glowing faintly blue, pulsing like the heartbeat of something ancient or still alive. You've heard the stories. Myth says Hermes guarded threshold boundaries between worlds, between life and death. But historians rarely agree on what those thresholds meant. Tomb entrances, secret mountain passes, metaphors for spiritual awakening. But standing here, with the symbols humming, the geometry precise to impossible standards measured in golden ratios, aligned to star charts, only visible millennia ago, it feels less poetic, more mechanical. Like you're inside a system. Here's the academic rift. Some scholars argue Hermes was just a literary invention, a mashup of older deities like Thoth, Mesopotamian Nabu, or Canaanite messengers. Others point to archaeological fragments, tablets, carvings, myth cycles predating classical Greece that reference guides of the sky, beings with spiral emblems, staff-like tools, and knowledge of heaven's doors, gates, passageways. You run your hand along the wall. The stone beneath your fingers warps momentarily, like soft metal, shimmering with glyph spirals, serpents and elongated, almond-eyed figures offering the caduceus to humans below. The same figures you glimpsed earlier, still lurking at the edge of perception. Maybe Hermes wasn't guiding souls to Hades. Maybe he escorted beings to and from somewhere else entirely. Across the globe, myths converge Mayan sky serpents descending through portals. Norse gods riding Bifrost, the shimmering rainbow bridge linking realms. Even the Hopi legends speak of ant people guiding survivors through underground gateways. During Earth's past cataclysms, different cultures, same pattern, spiral symbols, technological staffs, non-human guides. Coincidence? The air thickens as you approach the chamber's center. Embedded in the cracked floor is a spiral platform of interlocking stone, veins of faint luminescence tracing its surface. At its heart stands a pedestal, and atop it a weathered, metal-like rod, serpents coiling upward, wings outstretched. The caduceus. Only this one isn't stone. It hums with energy, impossible alloys glinting beneath dust. A device, not a statue. You hesitate. The observers tall, lithe, not quite human, and Titius watch silently from the shadows. Their skin reflects faint star patterns, eyes dark but inquisitive. They don't move. They don't have to. You're already standing in their message. Remember those glowing glyphs? Those star alignments? The ancient ruins scholars can't explain the megaliths of Baalbek, the precision of Puma Punku, the electromagnetic anomalies at Stonehenge. They connect. The spiral symbols, the caduceus. Hermes, they are breadcrumbs in a map humanity forgot or was never supposed to remember. You grip the staff. It vibrates, humming with frequencies beyond hearing. The chamber pulses walls, flexing like breathing lungs. The fringe theory? Hermes wasn't delivering messages for the gods. He was the message, a living conduit, part biological, part engineered, designed to move between dimensions. To maintain what? A network? An alliance? A quarantine? The platform beneath you shifts, spiral rotating gently, unlocking mechanisms buried for eons. The air fractures again, reality bending like water. For a moment, you glimpse beyond, impossible landscapes, crystalline cities suspended in void, starships shaped like organic shells drifting between dimensions. The observers tilt their heads, not hostile, but waiting. You've stumbled onto a forgotten gateway. One Hermes once guarded, one other's host not entirely human may still monitor. And standing here, holding the caduceus, reality cracked open around you, truth becomes painfully clear. They lied about Hermes. He wasn't just a messenger of myths. He was a guide of corridors humanity barely remembers, an interdimensional operative carrying information, maintaining thresholds, maybe warning us. The glyphs pulse brighter. The spirals beneath your feet tighten. The stars above wheel unnaturally, shifting into alien alignments. And the gateway? It's no longer closed. The platform slows. The symbols fade. The humming retreats into the stones, into your bloodstream, into the corners of your mind where wonder collides with unease. You step away, the weight of the staff still buzzing in your palm, though the glow has dulled. Behind you, the observers remain silent, statuesque, their outlines rippling faintly against fractured space. Not visitors in the way stories paint them, not invaders either. Custodians, maybe. Watchers at the gates between here and elsewhere. The air cools as the temple fades back to ruin, crumbling columns, shattered marble, forgotten glyphs hidden beneath vines and time. The stars realign, mostly normal, though you notice faint flickers in constellations that shouldn't change. A reminder that reality isn't entirely solid. You walk back across cracked stone, spirals glowing faintly beneath moss and dust, ancient circuitry waiting beneath myth and forgotten history. Hermes' smirk lingers in your thoughts, playful, knowing, warning. You won't look at him the same way again. And tonight, when you glance up at the sky at those pinprick lights humming quietly above you, maybe, just maybe, they aren't looking down. Maybe they're waiting for someone to look back.